Key indices on Wall Street end lower amid selling pressure in big tech stocks and the US government shutdown entering its 7th day with no signs of the impasse ending. Asian markets trade lower, breaking ranks from Wall Street losses after the World Bank raises its growth forecast. The GIFT Nifty, meanwhile, is indicating a muted start for our own markets. Oil prices remain flat, with investors weighing a smaller than expected increase to the output in November from OPEC and its allies. Gold futures, on the other hand, have surged past the $4,000 per ounce mark for the first time ever, driven by Fed rate cut expectations. Sources close to the Tata Group tell CNBC TV18 that Home Minister Amit Shah and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman met Tata Trust Chairman Noel Tata, Tata Sons Chairman N. Chandrasekharan, and trustees Darius Khambata and Venu Srinivasan as tensions within the Tata Trusts escalate. And UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer rules out any visa deal with India as he begins a two-day visit to solidify the new trade pact. Starmer added that the recently signed FTA would remain focused purely on trade and investment. Good morning, it's midweek trade and we are watching Power Breakfast on CNBC TV18 in the Mumbai News Center. I'm Hormuz Fatakia. Let's first take a look at how the Asian markets have started off, whichever ones that are open, of course. The Hang Seng and the Taiwanese index both trading with a cut of red as of now. The Japanese index, though, continues to do well for itself. It's seeing some profit booking on the Taiwanese index. Of course, the Chinese markets, mainland China's markets, continue to remain shut. And of course, they will resume for trade tomorrow, as do the markets of South Korea. Even they remain shut on account of a holiday. The Nikkei, though, still at the flat line, but trading with a positive bias as compared to the cuts that you're seeing on the Hang Seng and the Taiwanese index, 1.5% lower now on the Hang Seng as well. Pull up the GIFT Nifty and give you an idea of how our own markets are likely to start off. Nothing much as of now for the GIFT Nifty. A 7-point downtick is what the implied open is suggesting. So as of now, after 4 days of gains on the index, it'll be interesting to see how the midweek trade shapes up, and that's what we are going to tell you on our Power Prep segment with our research team as well. The stocks that are likely to be in the news, and of course the setup on the F&O side of things as well. Now, if you take a look at yesterday's session, though, it was a proper roller coaster and a proper expiry session, with the bulls and the bears both being at play. You made a high, gave up all of those gains, then recovered from those losses, and then eventually giving up those gains by the close of trade, ending near the lowest point of the day. Now, what could be those reasons? Now, there could be possible buyers exhaustion at higher levels, of course. There could be expiry related volatility as well, and of course caution at the start or closer to the start of the earning season. But if you take a look at the September 30th low to yesterday's high, the Nifty was up almost 650 points. So some bit of buyers exhaustion at higher levels was anticipated, and that's exactly what happened in yesterday's trading session. And yesterday was yet another day when the broader markets ended in the positive, but the advanced decline was ending in favor of the declines. The lines eventually converged sometime around 11:30, and then it remained in favor of the losers. But the key levels to watch, of course, on the Nifty, yesterday's high of 25,220 becomes the first important level to watch on the upside. But the good bit is that it managed to defend that 25,100 mark on the downside. So that 25,050 to 25,100 will act as a support, at least in today's trading session, because yesterday's low being 25,076. And analysts also say that unless and until the Nifty remains above that 24,950 to 25,000 zone, the trend remains positive for the index. So watch out for the Nifty Bank, though. It had a similar topsy-turvy session yesterday. It fell nearly 300 points from the highs of the day, and that showed up on the Nifty as well with the fall that you saw. The Tuesday's high of 56,502 becomes the first important level on the upside, because now this has become the new swing high for the Nifty Bank. 6 days of gains now for the index, and that 56,000 to 56,200 range can offer some support on the downside. Today being the final day of the Tata Capital IPO, the issue is subscribed 75%. LG's IPO saw full subscription on the first day itself, but WeWork somehow managed to see full subscription, but the NII and retail portion remained unsubscribed. And today we'll watch out for Vedanta as well because of the NCLT hearing for the demerger. The GIFT Nifty for now indicating a subdued start for our own markets, so it remains to be seen how the day turns out. Over to Ria now, who would list out the stocks that you need to keep an eye out for going into today's session. Ria, good morning.
Good morning, Hormuz. Let's start off with Anant Raj. Today's sources say that the company has launched a QIP worth about 1100 crores. The indicative price for this is rupees 662 per share, which is a 4.86% discount to yesterday's closing price, and the equity dilution for this is seen at 4.62%. Moving on to Shelley Engineering, which will remain in focus after a big block deal has taken place. Lighthouse India Fund has sold around 3% of equity for 284 crores. The buyers include Motilal Oswal as well as Stallion Asset, which have bought stake at roughly 69 crores and 53 crores, and other buyers on this deal include Aditya Birla AMC, Bofa Securities as well as Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, among others. Moving on though to the Q2 updates, starting off with Tata Motors, JLR has come out with its Q2 update. Retail sales have gone down by 17.1% on a year-on-year basis. For Titan, the domestic business has gone up by around 18%, while the international business has gone up by a whopping 86% compared on a year-on-year basis. For Lodha Developers, the pre-sales have seen an increase of around 7%, and collections have also gone up by around 13% compared to Q2 of last year. For Keystone Developers, both the pre-sales and the collections have gone up by around 9% on a year-on-year basis. For Godrej Consumer, the company has said that nearly one-third of the company's portfolio is now taxed at 5%, down from the 18% taxation rate earlier, and the underlying volume growth for the company is now projected to be in low single digits. For IRB Infra, they have come out with their September toll collections, which has gone up by around 11% at roughly 557 crores this time around. Two other stocks to be in focus today. Concor has signed an agreement with Ultratech Cement to transport bulk cement using specialized tank containers, and the last one to keep on your radar is Associated Alcohols and Breweries, which has started the manufacturing of malt spirits in its Barwaha facility. So keep your eye out on all of these stocks today.
Interesting. Rhea, thank you for that update. Lastly, Sudarshan joins in with cues from the F&O space. Sudarshan, good morning. The bulls may not like the fact that we ended close to the day's low, but what is the F&O data indicating today?
So the data from the derivative front is looking largely positive, that because we have seen buying in both futures as well as options, both in Nifty as well as Nifty Bank, and here also in the both futures and options. As far as yesterday's session is concerned, we have closed we have come off days highs, and all the major indices managed to close in the green. You talk about Nifty, Nifty Bank or Nifty Midcap Index, and ahead of quarterly earnings that TCS is going to start on Thursday, Nifty IT will remain in the focus. Yesterday also, we saw that from the day's high, it slipped, and at the end, it managed to close near flatland. As far as GIFT Nifty, it's like a regular routine for the last 3 days. It's been indicating to start with minor cuts, but our own market opens in the green. Flows front, FIs have finally turned buyers. Yesterday, we have seen FIs buying more than rupees 1,400 crore, and DIs continue to buy in the cash market. They have bought more than rupees 400 crore yesterday as well. In the futures too, we have seen in the index futures, FIs buying more than rupees 1,500 crore, and they have reduced short positions of more than 8,000 contracts on the expiry day, but FI long exposure remains around multi-month lows of 7%. As far as options data are concerned, for the Nifty, 25,200 and 25,300 call options were very healthy, and both these strike rates have seen an increase in the premium. And on the put side, 25,000 was very active, followed by 25,200. So support for Nifty would be around 25,020, and resistance would be first resistance 25,250, next resistance 25,450. For Nifty Bank, support would be 55,713, and resistance would be 56,400. One stock remains in the band, that is RBL. Apart from that, Vodafone Idea continues to see fresh longs, and it will remain in the focus ahead of the next hearing that is scheduled on October 13. One stock that keep an eye on, Kalyan Jewellers, because Kalyan Jewellers day before yesterday had announced quarterly update. It was a good update. Yesterday, Titan has reported an update, and that is also looking very good. So Kalyan might also be in the focus.
Interesting. We'll keep an eye out on all of these stocks. Sudarshan, thank you for that. Now on to the big developing story as well. Home Minister Amit Shah and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman met Tata Trust's chairman Noel Tata, Tata Sons chairman N. Chandrasekaran, and trustees. Now, sources close to the Tata Group have told CNBC TV 18. Now, Shireen Bhan is now joining in with more details on this. Shireen, good morning. Some more developments coming in with regards to this ongoing infighting within the Tata Group.
Well, good morning. Absolutely. A very crucial development. This is the first time that the government has directly got involved in the infighting within the Tata Group. Sources close to the Tata Group tell us that the meeting with the government was actually sought at the behest of some trustees within the Tata Trust. So yesterday what we saw late night was that the Home Minister met with Noel Tata, who chairs the Tata Trust. There was the chairman of Tata Sons, N. Chandrasekaran, and other trustees included Venu Srinivasan and Darius Khambata. Now, Darius Khambata's inclusion in that meeting is interesting because, again, sources close to the Tata Group suggest one of the four trustees that allegedly is undermining leadership of Noel Tata and is working with Mehli Mistry and others to try and stage, quote unquote, in the words of a very senior executive that we spoke to, a coup. And so Darius Khambata's presence at that meeting is interesting, which essentially tells you that both sides were in a way being represented at that meeting yesterday. Now, it's important to note that there is a board meeting of the Tata Trust on the 10th of October. So it will be interesting to see what transpires now in that board meeting. We have, of course, also been reporting, as our colleague Parikshit was reporting, that Mehli Mistry, who has, of course, been a long-time confidant of the late Ratan Tata on the Tata Trust, had written to the Tatas, to the Trust in May, suggesting that nominated directors were exercising special powers and that all trustees should be treated equally when it comes to the passage of resolutions. So that was one of the bones of contention. The other, of course, was the exit of the former Defence Secretary Vijay Singh. And there again, there was a split decision between the trustees on Vijay Singh's continuation, his reappointment, and his exit. So this has been simmering for a while, and it has now reached a point where some trustees believe that it could start to impact Tata Sons. So it will be interesting to see what now transpires in that board meeting and what role the government, if any at all, is likely to play in all of this from behind the scenes. It's also important that the meeting yesterday was with the Home Minister, and we're given to understand that the Finance Minister was also present at that meeting that took place. So we will, of course, keep you posted on further developments. But this is an attempt to de-escalate escalation within the Tata Trust and ensure that this doesn't spill on to the Tata Sons, which of course controls the listed entities as far as the Tata Group is concerned.
Shireen Bhan, thank you for that update, and we'll keep you updated with all the developments with regards to the Tata Trusts and the Tata Group. We'll take a short break. On the other side, we get you all the cues and updates from Wall Street. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, stocks on Wall Street ended lower amidst a late sell-off in the technology names. The S&P 500 snapped a 7-day winning streak as investors looked for more developments outside of Washington, with the U.S. government shutdown entering its 7th day. Now, Oracle led the decline in tech stocks after reports over the company generating lighter margins as compared to expectations with regards to their latest deal. The shares of Tesla were also under pressure after the company debuted its affordable versions of the Model Y SUV and the Model 3 sedan. Meanwhile, hopes that the government would reopen were dashed after the Senate for a 5th time failed to pass a House bill that would have funded the government through the 21st of November. Now, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has said that the Indian government is in active dialogue with the Trump administration on trade negotiations. Speaking to Parikshit Luthra, Goyal added that India will resolve trade issues with the US in the near future and added that both nations must respect each other's trade sensitivities.
We're in very active dialogue, and there's a deep understanding of each other. I'm quite confident that we will be able to resolve the issues that are on the table, and find the landing zone in the near future. As long as both countries and the negotiators respect each other's sensitivities and agree on a fair and equitable, balanced trade agreement, which will also help to balance trade deficits.
Now, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer, has landed in India for his first official visit. During the visit on the 9th of October in Mumbai, the two Prime Ministers, Keir Starmer and Narendra Modi, will take stock of the progress in diverse aspects of the India-UK Comprehensive Strategic Partnership in line with Vision 2035, a focused and time-bound 10-year roadmap of programs and initiatives in key pillars of trade and investment, technology and innovation, defense and security, climate and energy, health, education and people-to-people relations. We'll take a short break. More updates on the latest Israel-Hamas conflict on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. On to the latest from the Israel-Gaza conflict. Hamas said on Tuesday that it wants to reach a deal to end the war in Gaza based on a plan proposed by US President Donald Trump. But it said still has a set of demands in a statement signaling that indirect talks with Israel in Egypt could be difficult and lengthy. Take a look at this report.
As Israeli forces pounded parts of Gaza on Tuesday on the anniversary of Hamas's bloody attack that triggered 2 years of a devastating war, the militant group said it wants to reach a ceasefire deal based on US President Donald Trump's plan. But it says it still has a set of demands, underlining how challenging the indirect talks with Israel and Egypt, which began on Monday, are set to be. In a televised statement, senior Hamas official Fawzi Barhoum said its delegation in Egypt was working, quote, to overcome all obstacles to reaching an agreement that meets the aspirations of our people in Gaza. Among the conditions, Barhoum said a deal must ensure an end to the war and a full Israeli withdrawal from the Gaza Strip, terms that Israel has never accepted. Israel, for its part, wants Hamas to disarm, something the group rejects. Both sides have endorsed the overall principles behind Trump's plan. It would see fighting cease, hostages go free, and aid pour into Gaza. Arab and Western states have also backed the plan. The talks appear the most promising yet for ending a war that has killed tens of thousands of Palestinians and devastated Gaza since the October 7, 2023 attack on Israel, according to Gaza health officials. That October 7th assault saw 1,200 people killed in Israel and some 250 taken as hostages, according to Israeli tallies. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu did not immediately comment on the status of the talks. But officials from all parties urged caution over the prospects of a rapid deal as Israelis remembered the bloodiest single day for Jews since the Holocaust. And Gazans voiced hope for an end to the suffering. US officials have suggested they want to initially focus talks on a halt to the fighting and the logistics of a hostage and prisoner release. But sources told Reuters Trump's 72-hour deadline for the hostages' return may be unachievable for dead hostages, as their remains may still need to be located and recovered.
Well, before we call time on this edition of Power Breakfast, pull up the GIFT Nifty as well, give you an idea of how our own markets are likely to start off. Of course, when we started the show, it was a muted implied open. It continues to remain a muted implied open, still a 4-point downtick. So absolutely flat is what the start is likely to be. But as the price action suggests over the last few trading sessions, the action has been anything but flat as we go into the trade. With that, we call time on this edition of Power Breakfast. From me and the team that put this show together, thank you so much for watching. Bazaar Morning Call on the other side to set you up for the day's trade.